Hi, I'm Lucy from Sweet Poppy Stencils, and our next technique is the microbeads technique, and it's showing you how to apply things like your dye-based inks, so your distress inks, or your pigment inks like your brilliants, through the stencils, and then using our translucent medium, which is one of my favourite mediums, and then our super fine microbeads over the top. This gives you the most beautiful coverage, and we hope you enjoy the technique. This is a sample from one of our DT members, and this is by Eileen Godwin, and she's very vibrant with her colours, and as you can see she's been able to blend the colours and get real texture, and then applying the microbeads on top of the dimension paste really gives you texture. So to start off with, we're starting with our basic tools. So we've got, as always, our magnetic sheet, our A5 magnetic sheet, and I prefer working with an A5 rather than an A4, but you can work with A4. We've then got our Sweet Poppy Stencil spreader, that is so important. We've got our palette knife, and then we've got our low-tack stencil tape. So we're going to be working with the beautiful honeysuckle circle, and it is such a popular stencil, and it takes lots of different techniques, so it's a very useful stencil. So we're going to also be working with pigment inks, so I'm using the Versamagic chalk-based pigment inks, and I've just grabbed a couple of colours just to show you a quick application of inks with them. We're going to be using, let's find it, the beautiful translucent stencil dimensions medium, and I always say it's my favourite, and it is my favourite. People will see me at the shows and they know that I use this one such a lot. And then finally we're going to be using Fab clear glass ultra fine microbeads, and anything ultra fine will stick to your cards perfectly. And don't forget, good old trusty tray. You do need that. You know, you can't get away with a piece of paper, not with the glass microbeads. So let's pop those out of the way. So I've got a 300 GSM piece of white card now, 6 inches by 6 inches. You could, if you wanted a circular image, then I do recommend, especially as you're using microbeads, die cut your image first, then do your pasting, as Eileen's done. So I'm popping it on. I'm just going to use, because we're just going to show you techniques, not projects as such, I'm just going to show you how to apply. So all you need to do is, we're just going to mask off around the image, and this is how you get your colour on your base first off. So just make sure it's all stuck down well. You're going to be taking your inks, whichever colours you want to use, and whichever applicator you prefer to use. I prefer smoothers at the moment, so I'm just taking a little bit of colour. Now you could use a little bit of scrap and take a little bit off, or you could use the side. And all you're going to do is build up a layer, bit by bit by bit by bit. If you apply straight from the ink pad, some of them are very, very juicy, and what happens is it will bleed underneath, and then you've gone to the effort of getting such a beautiful image, and you can ruin it within seconds. So just applying. Now if you wanted to be really perfect and you wanted to mask off, that is possible, and it's just a case of taking a little bit of masking tape, masking the area off, and then you can build up your colour that way. But sometimes I like to see a little bit of bleeding over from one area to the other, so a bit of contamination. It just adds to the colour and the depth, because with pigment inks and dye inks that you can use for this technique, they do blend so well, so I think they're fine to sometimes to have a little bit of contamination. So we're just applying, and we're building up and building up, and I won't do all of it because I've got one already prepped, but it gives you an idea of how you can play. So again, we're now taking a little bit of blue. And as I said, you're going to take and you're applying and you're just softening the edges, and you're better to do a layer, let it dry, do another layer, let it dry, and build up the depth of colour that you're going to get. Be vibrant. I'm sometimes not vibrant enough. I'm a little bit safe, whereas Eileen and some of the other girls on the DT teams, they really go to town with colour, and they know how to get the depths that they want. And just experiment. At the end of the day, it's just a little piece of card. So we're just applying until build up, and then we're going to go in with the green. So, and these are beautiful little ink pads because they really blend so well. And all these items, they're available on the Sweet Poppy website. So just go under the inks. They come in little sets of 4s. So to me, they've already told me which colours are going to work well together. They've already had the hard thing already worked out. So we're applying and we're building up bit by bit until we're happy. And again, I'm just moving and just applying as we go. So it gives you a rough idea. So, oops. So let's move that out of the way, and then we'll take off and we'll show you the first layer of what we've got. And as I said, what I would tend to do is I'd add another layer and another layer until I was happy that I'd got everything sorted. So we've moved those out of the way. So the trick is build your colour up, and then so you can see you've got a base of colour. If you weren't happy, you would put it back down and you'd apply another colour. So let me just fast forward to one that we've already prepped. So I'll move that to one side and I can finish that later. So as you can see, we've already prepped one. So we're just going to get the stencil. So most important, you take your stencil off and you wash it. Blast it with a heat gun, or what you would do is you would leave it air dry. And I'm just going to now shimmy him back into position. It is so important that you do not leave a dirty stencil on there, because all that's going to do is when you apply your translucent, when you move it across, all that dirty dry ink will then contaminate your paste. So that's why we also remove your stencil and clean your stencil. So we're just going to go, now we're starting off to paste. So first one, second one, and again, first one and second one. Lovely. I'm going down the sides. So if I was a bit undecided and I thought, oh, I wish I'd added a bit more orange or yellow to it, I could apply the inks again, do another layer, and then you could really go to town on it. So we're just making sure we're lovely masked off. So as always, we're going in with the translucent, in with the palette knife, give it a good stir, make sure it's all lovely mixed together, and then we're going on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So with your spreader, in the middle, not at the ends always, along and up. So you can see we've missed some little areas, so we just scoop and dollop, and then that comes off, and then gentle pressure, don't push, it's gentle across. You've got about 3 sweeps, so 1 to put it on, 1 to take it off, maybe 2 if you need to. So you can see that that is not contaminated because we've washed the stencil. That goes straight into warm soapy water. Wipe the rim of your lid over your pot, and then lid on, keep the air out, that's so important. And then we're going to take off. So sides come off as always, bottom comes off, and then top one comes off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to release the hinge, and then I'm going to gently pull it, and hopefully I won't pull it out of shot, to the edge. I'm just going to pull down the card magnetic sheet, lift up, straight off, and then we're going to take our beautiful glass beads and our tray. I've got a little bit of bleeding, but this gives you an idea. So the trick with the micro beads, sprinkle them over, and then gently and very gently, all I'm doing is I'm just tapping to make sure that they adhere to the glue. Tap off, check that you're covered, and you can see the colour is starting to come through already. So when it's bone dry, pop that one to one side, you can see the beautiful texture, and this will never shed. You get no shedding at all, and you can see how fabulous the texture is. So as I said, all you would do is when it's bone dry, you would just then mount it and pop it onto your card base, as Eileen's done. And here's another one. This is from Sue, another member of our D2 team. And what she's done is she's pasted on, so she's inked through first, pasted over with the translucent and left it dry. Then she's got the stencil again, she's masked off the leaves, left the poppy heads, replaced it on and double pasted. And then she has just used the beautiful micro beads. And as you can see, that gives you the beautiful texture. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed our techniques, and I hope you can join us again for inking on top of the paste. We hope we've inspired you, and don't forget to join us at Sweet Poppy Stencils.